Welcome to the Goof and Goober Show, the podcast that brings you laughter, insight, and the quirkiest conversations. Join your hosts, Matthew and Regan, as they embark on a delightful journey through the realms of pop culture, humor, and everyday shenanigans. So, buckle up and get ready for a roller coaster of fun and entertainment. Let's dive into the world of laughs with Matthew and Regan on the Goof and the Goober Show. Welcome to a very special live. We're live here in Greenville, Illinois, as I always like to pronounce it. But we came all the way to Illinois for a very special broadcast to bring you guys, our listeners, live. First, before we get into anything, I just need to plug us so you guys know where to reach us and how to reach us. We are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitch, we're on Facebook, the Goof and Goober Show. You guys can go reach us and follow us there. You can also find us on all the Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, what's the other, Spotify, and Podbean, Podchaser, whatever one. If you guys haven't heard before, Matthew is the sound guy today. We have got both of them. We have got both the Goof and Goobers in studio together. First live time that's ever been done, but not necessarily co-hosting it together. But we got some very special guests that we want to bring you guys. Some Crown College higher ups, I guess you could say. Some of the guys that know what they're doing and all that fun jazz. So we're going to get right into it. We got a lot of questions we want to ask them. We've talked a lot about the Crown College football team over the past season. Tomorrow will be their last game, and we are going to hear it from the coaches, from the higher ups, and what they got to do tomorrow to bring home that dubs, to eat that dubs. So first joining me is one of the Crown College's O-line coach, right? O-line, assistant O-line coach, Colby. Colby, thanks for coming. How you doing?
Hey, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Hey, blessing.
I appreciate it.
Okay, now, Colby, I just met you this year. Wait,
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be a little interesting because we got one mic and we got to share it with two people. So, before you answer, just let me get the mic over to that mouth over there to yours.
Two men, one mic.
That's what we're all about here at the Goof and Goober Show. Anyways, so Colby, where are you from?
I am from Eagle, Idaho.
Eagle, Idaho. Let me ask, how are those potatoes over there? We're just making that up.
They're good.
Okay, good. So Colby, first season here, right, as a coach?
Correct.
Okay, and how are you feeling about it?
I'm loving it. It's been a great time. As I was saying earlier, just blessed.
And so one of the things that we do here at the Goof and Goober Show, you might have saw it with Logan Anderson, but we're not going to do the jerk off. Just for time's sake, it's going to take a lot, but we will do the ringer dinger. And so that's what we're going to put you through. Are you all right with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. So the ringer dinger is we put you through some scenarios and you have to react. We want to get to know you and how your brain works. Okay. And this is going to be the same scenario I put Logan Anderson in. So I think I'm just going to do one, because we got a lot of people coming in and we got to show you guys, and people want to know. People want to see you guys. They want to know who's behind the face of Crown College Polars. So, and what are the characteristics about these people? And they need to know. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. All right. You are down on halftime, 30 to Matthew. Okay, 30 to 22, 23, okay, or 24. You have got, well, should we do maybe fourth quarter? Yeah. Let's do fourth quarter. Okay, we'll change it up a little bit. Not halftime, fourth quarter. you took a timeout. Okay. The guys, it's your ball. It's offense's ball. Your objective is to motivate these kids to just get out there and grind. So you got to tell them, you got to give them a speech. Okay. Well, this is the ringer doing. You got to think on your feet. I'm not going to give you an example. You have to think about this on yourself. So I will give you the mic, and you can go whenever you want.
All right, man. Put them up. Put up the fourth quarter. It all comes down to this. Last game of the year. We've all come down to this. We've worked hard. Yeah, seniors, you guys have put in 4 years.
Yeah.
Juniors, right? You're on it. This is yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I run the ball, please? Please.
You're 5'8", 240. I don't think it's happening. Sorry.
Coach, put me in. I got it. I got what it takes. I've been working on my dig route a lot this season, and I trust me, it's going to be a freaking killer. This team hasn't seen it all season.
I think that's a great idea. Go ahead and take your helmet off. It'll be all right. Keep those fours up. Okay, we got to go out there and we got to play tough. We got to go out there and play tough. That was a long first 30 seconds. What we got to do is we got to go out there and hit what they're giving us. Yes, sir.
Where's the water? I'm really thirsty. This is the longest fourth quarter I've worked. I'm really.
Logan, where's the water? Logan, where's the water? Where's the water?
All right, no. Our sound guy is down. A little technical difficulties on. If you can see right now, Matthew right now is laying on the floor in complete pain. Man, it is a wild first Goof and Goober live event that we're having right now. Matthew should have had a little bit more water.
If you couldn't tell, the energy here, the first time that they're here together in the same room is so electric that Matthew simply cannot contain himself. His body does not know how to react. And in doing so, it's just tensing all of his muscles, therefore enacting calf cramp.
Wow, what a first ringer dinger for Colby. He really, you bought into the whole coaching thing and holding up the fourth. I mean, you didn't really get past holding up your four fingers. So next time, I think what we got to do is just be more like, guys, listen, hey, I'm the coach. Listen up. Kind of screw you. I've been coaching this team for the last year. It's, we can work on a little bit on that. Matthew, you all right? You want to say anything?
I actually put my whole calf cramp. Literally, it was horrible.
This is the worst. You're the worst. I cannot believe this is happening. You're so pumped. So pumped.
I think I did a good job. I fired him up. Ready to go.
I mean, I guess, yes, you got Matthew all pumped up. So I'll give you props for that. I think Matthew, how do you think Colby did?
I'd give it a we go a 5 rating, 5 out of 5. I give it a 3.5, 3.7. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'd go run through a wall, like not like a strong wall, but like a decent, like a straw wall.
Enough to like cramp your calf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First ringer dinger. How was it? How did you feel about the first ringer dinger?
I felt like everything I've done up until this point in my life prepared me for this moment. And I think I want to thank God for allowing me to be here and allowing me to have the skills in order to successfully pass 3.5, 3.75. That's a passing grade.
It's true. C's gets degrees. That's what I always heard, right? Am I right, boys? Amen to that. All right, now we're gonna get into the good stuff here. A little bit about the Crown College team over the 2023 season. Not the best season we've ever had, right? What are we? 1-8, 1-7,
1-7 at this point.
7. Okay, and tomorrow we take on the Greenville. The Cougar Panthers? Greenville Panthers. What do you think? What it's going to take for Crown College to beat Greenville tomorrow?
I just think we have to pay attention to what we do best and take care of the little things and make sure that we're running our plays and executing our plays correctly. And there's some pretty dynamic players and respecting them, but also playing our game and trying to limit what they do on the field.
And what do you think? Like you said, our best. What do you think is like our best, like our bread and butter kind of stuff? What do you think that is?
I think we pass the ball a little, so we'll probably pass the ball a little.
Okay, so we got to get better at passing the ball. I mean, I think last game again, which was 2 weeks ago against University of Minnesota Morris, our running kind of was going off a little bit. Do you think we might need to switch it a little bit to get into that more of dynamic kind of a full offense kind of thing?
I think Jonathan Walmsley is a great runner, and I think our running backs are coached really well. But I also think a lot of what allowed us to run the ball well was the fact that we passed the ball well, and it drew out those linebackers and gave us a favorable box. So I think that if we pass well and then we execute when we can run the ball, I think we'll be in a really good position to put ourselves in a position to succeed.
Okay. Matthew's got a question.
Coming from the box here. Thanks for shouting out my running backs, by the way. And I coach them, so but nothing to brag here. So tomorrow, if you could name one key player that needs to step up to see the win, who is that, and what do you think he's got to do from either a team standpoint, number standpoint, play standpoint to kind of change the trajectory of this last game going into the next year? Who is that, and what are they going to have to do to create success moving forward?
I got a two-piecer for you. 2 men that I'll talk about. So my first guy is going to be Brock Knick. I think if he keeps on nailing 40-plus yard field goals, and our offense is working, I think that's going to help us big time in allowing us to put points on the board. So that's going to be my first key to success is getting him started and helping him with all that. And I think our second piece is going to be Eli Green, our starting center, been starting for the last 3 years, phenomenal football player, but more than just a football player, he's a really smart football player. And so some things that he does really well is help identify the box for us, help pick up blitzers, help pick up the run game stuff. And so if we allow him to succeed in finding those areas that Greenville is trying to attack us, it helps out our pass game because our QB will have a little bit more time to throw the ball, and it'll help out our run game because we'll get the right guys picked up. So I think those two guys do well. We have fantastic skill players all around. We got a fantastic offense, and our defense has just been lights out all year. They've been playing really, really well when the offense is putting them in a position to succeed. So I think we continue to do well. We got some great coaches. Coach Womack calls a great game. He's probably one of the smartest offensive coaches I've ever been able to be around. So I think he's going to put us in a great position. And everybody else on the staff is amazing as well. So,
wow, I'm surprised that you didn't mention any specialties players. That was, well, he's not necessarily a specialty. He's special. He is the specialties, but that's not what I mean when I say special. You know what I mean when I say special.
Okay, I think another big piece for us could be Luke Johnson. He's a real fast guy, and him getting down there and playing and making plays. So I think he'd be a good piece too.
Luke Johnson is on our team.
Oh, is LJ.
I don't know. I still don't know. I don't pay attention too much to the defense. I've mostly been on offense this whole season. But oh yeah, that's super insightful. I appreciate that. I think my other question though is on an overall season. what has been your favorite thing so far this season of 2023 with the Crown College football team? I know that might be a little difficult, but
Yeah, I think there's been a few things. First off, I think there's been a ton of personal growth, both for myself. I feel like this is my first time really coaching and learning. I coached high school football for 2 years. Before that, was playing, and I feel like I was learning and growing. But being here, I feel like the people around me put me in a position to grow and to need me to grow, and it's really helped me out in that way. And so that's been some of my biggest. I forget, how did you phrase the question?
your biggest memory or your what you love most?
So I think that's been a big one, is allowing me there. I think the relationships that we've been able to build are really great. It's a really close, tight knit family, and I really mean that, and I'm very thankful for getting to know these guys and building these relationships both with the coaches and the players. We got some really good guys all around, and I've been super thankful to get to know them and meet them.
All right, Matthew, you got any more questions there for Colby?
We're gonna go. So obviously tomorrow, regardless of the win or the loss, right, is we go into off season. And us as a coaching staff, it is our job to recruit, get more individuals in, better fits, fill gaps where we're needed. In terms of recruiting, how are you kind of taking that approach moving forward? Like, are you focusing on positional? Are you focusing on location? Like, what's making you successful recruiting moving forward in the off season? What are you keying on in terms of position or skill set, things like that?
Oh, great question. I think my role has been all Minnesota athletes plus offensive linemen anywhere in the country. So that's really what I've been focusing in on. But I've also had the opportunity to recruit some kids because they'll reach out to me via Twitter. Coach Steiner, all one word. And as they reach out, they'll send their messages, and I'll watch their tape, get to know them as a person, and it's been good getting to know them, and that's the piece I look at most. To be able to send out those DMs to coaches pretty much all the time, that they'll be a pretty competent athlete and be able to play. And there's a lot of guys who can play football. There's not a lot of guys who are great people who want to play at a Christian college, who want to come here and write history being a part of Crown football. And so to find good football players isn't that hard. To find guys who want to fulfill all those other aspects, that is where it gets a little bit tougher. So that's really the things that I look at, and I think the rest of it will take care of itself. But from a position standpoint, man, you can't have enough depth anywhere. I think we have really talented players at all spots. We're not losing a whole lot in seniority, but I know things change and things happen, so I'm sure that there'll be some pieces moving around. But I just think you bring in culture fits and guys who are going to come in, inspire change in the weight room, in the classroom, in study hall, get guys' team GPA up, help build that culture, and I think that's when you'll find a lot of success on the field. And I think that's what Coach Franz and the rest of the staff's been doing since they've been around, and I think they've done a good job of it, and I think it's been showing. I know this season probably didn't get as many wins as we would have wanted, but I think that a lot of the formula of the wins has been there, and it just didn't come out correct. But I'd rather have the formula right, and not get the right outcome than get the right outcome but not have a good formula, because you can't repeat that. So I think we continue along the process we've been going on, continue to recruit good guys, and keep this coaching staff intact. And I believe that we'll have a lot of success up here in the shortcoming future.
And then one quick question, just to make it quick, because we got another guys to go through. This season,
Great guys.
it's great guys. This season, it's been a tough season. But what do you think our record really should be reflective of? Because I don't think who we are as a team is a 1-7 team. What do you think our record should be?
I mean, that's tough. I think that we most of the games that we've played in, we've been at least competitive in some sort of way. I don't think we've had many just blowouts where you can't see a world in which we can compete. I don't think we've had any in which you can't see a world that we can compete in. And I think that our record should show a team of guys who want to go out and fight and want to finish their season strong. And I think the guys who are on board and are a part of the program who do want to go see that through, they'll continue to make that evident in how they play. And I think that's what it should be reflected. You know, you look at a guy like Terry Warner. I think he does everything the right way. He's great in the weight room, great in the classroom. He's a team cap leadership council guy, and his growth has been huge. And so I know when Terry leaves the Crown Polar family, he will be a better person for it. And not only will he be a better person for it, but we'll be a better person for having him there. And we'll be a better organization. And I hope that he'll inspire change and inspire that same type of greatness that came before him, and guys like Mike Williams and other young guys who are really talented football players, who are good people as well. And as they grow, they'll continue to take the same steps that Terry made. And I think that's what our record should show is the people who are here who are making those things. And I could go on and on about tons of guys, offense, defense. We got a lot of good guys who are playing good football, and we just haven't had it click yet. And so when we get that to click, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say UMAC on notice, anything crazy, but it's like I think we're going to compete at a high level, and I think that those schools that we played against are seeing that. And if they're not seeing that, I hope that we get the chance to open their eyes.
Well, thank you so much, Coley, for coming out on such short notice. Didn't really have a whole lot of time, but he came on. He wanted to do it. So you guys in the chat, give Coley a good old follow. And where can they follow you? Colby Steiner?
Yeah, I'm Coach Steiner on Twitter. So that's Coach spelled Coach, COACH, and then Steiner spelled Steiner, STINAR. So Coach Steiner, COACHSTINAR on Twitter.
Thank you, Coley. Give a round of applause for Coley. You heading out that way, then? Thanks, man. Oh, he's got a bunch of stuff here first. Guys, give it up for Colby. Thanks him, and what a moving, informative way of. It's coming in hot for you, Colby. Say goodbye to see you, man. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Here we go next. You guys might have seen his face before on a couple of our episodes. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to none other than Logan Anderson. Logan! Dog, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Regan, how you doing?
Have a seat. Oh, boy. You guys are in for a real treat because later today, Logan and I got in a little tussle. Logan, what happened later today? You want to let just a little bit ago. You want to inform everyone on the stream what happened.
Regan and Coach Leathers comes up to me and says, "Let me borrow your chair." I'm like, "Oh, what do you need my chair for?" So I'm like, "Okay, I'll let you borrow my chair." And I come in, and I see that someone does not have their shirt on. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on? I realize it's Regan. And then I'm thinking, and then he says, "You ready for round 2? I'm like, "Round 2? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh." And and I'm thinking, "Oh, round 2 for the wrestling match." I'm like, "Oh, gosh." So he has his shirt off. I'm thinking, well, you can't beat him, join him. So I took my shirt off too. So, so it's just, I had to get ready. Got to get on Regan's level, just get ready. And then, it's all downhill from there. Should have known right away. I just did not have a chance, but, I give it a good fight, and all I can say is that I finished.
You know what they say, sometimes you get it and sometimes you get got. He definitely got.
Get got, yeah, that was, and I put him in a little suplex in that one. I got him so friggin' bad. But yeah, that happened, and we actually had another thing that happened today. Logan, you want to give the details on that?
Prior to get into the hotel. We made a quick stop at a Walmart just for guys on the football team to make a quick pit stop, get some snacks, get their legs moving, just refresh themselves for the long road to the hotel. And Coach Leathers at the checkout area noticed that there was tiny little pies. We actually have them in studio in the hotel room. These tiny little pies, you can get them for 75 cents? 75 cents. And if you don't know me, I hate pie. It is a chocolate cream pie. So, I was hoping, it's chocolate. I'm hoping that'd be great. But again, I just don't like pie. I've never been a fan. And I figured out what they needed the chair for. It was for a quick little pie eating contest with one of our coaches. His name is Coach Niederloh. And Coach Niederloh, when me and him go into our little challenges we do in practice every Thursday, I always tend to beat him. There's very little instances where he can't beat me in something. But this is the one he had a chance. And as soon as I took the first bite out of that pie, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be a rough night. And then I just couldn't get past the pie crust. Pie crust is probably the worst part of pie. Forget the filling, forget anything. The pie crust is by far the grossest part, in my opinion. And just couldn't finish it, man. I couldn't, I did dry heave in the bathroom. I cannot stand pie. It's one thing everybody seems to love, but I just don't like. And so, Niederloh, he won fair and square. So, yeah.
Well, that was number 2 challenge that Logan lost today, but there's a number 3 challenge. Logan, you want to explain that third challenge that happened today? Between me and...
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so prior to getting to the hotel, we had to make a quick stop at a college just to do a quick walkthrough, just have everybody just be mentally prepared for tomorrow. And we see around the football field, there's a track field. Most fields would have. And me and Regan are walking over there, and then Coach Leathers or Matthew simply says, all right, you two, mile run. Whoever wins after 4, whoever gets there the quickest after 4 laps wins. And I'm thinking, okay, let me get ready. And then I just see Regan just take off. And I'm thinking, all right, he's going to come back. He's not coming back. And then they're just telling me, go. I'm like, all right, I'm going. I got close to Regan, maybe 10 yards away from him, maybe, but then, a little out of shape. I'll be honest with you. I'm an honest man. A little out of shape. And so, yeah, it was not a close one. But hey, I did. I was hocking up something. But, yeah, just did not. It was a rough day for me.
Yeah. So 0-3 for today, for Anderson. That one's gonna go down in the record books for all-time Anderson losses. And Coach Womack, Coach Shorts, Coach Franz, they are going to rip you forever because of this. So yeah, Merry Christmas.
Well, it's been a rough day, Logan, and I understand. So we're going to get a little bit. You've already been through the ringer dinger. You've already been through the jerk off. Of the 2, what would you say is your favorite one?
Probably the ringer dinger. It really gets my brain moving. You gotta be quick on your feet with these answers. If you saw the last episode that I was in, I had to be quick on my feet, and afterwards they gave me good criticism about what I need to improve on, and yeah, I really enjoyed being on the ringer dinger.
One of the questions I did want to ask you too, since being on I talked to you this after the podcast that you were on, and I wanted to do this live on air so you can answer this so we have record. But after the podcast, did you see any growth happen? Like, did you see anything? Like, did you feel like you got more popular? People noticed you more in any ways, or what?
Yeah, right after the next day, people were just talking about how much, how I did during my jerk off, and so I'm not gonna say what they said, but they did talk about how I did in my jerk off. So that's probably about it. And then the ringer dinger, they were like, yeah, it was rough. And then during the whole interview when we talked about the documentary about Manti Te'o, they brought up we talked about the question about would I myself get catfish at that time, and I said I don't think I would. Many people disagreed, but I still stand with my statement. So,
well, fun time. So now let's get into the Crown College thing, because I think that's what today's episode is going to be mostly about. Is Crown College of Minnesota, University of Crown College football. And how many seasons have you been with the Crown College football team?
This is my second season.
So it's your second season. You don't have to take it. I'll just kind of hold it from now. When you have to give a long explanation, I'll give you the mic. So, so you've been how many? I forgot how many.
2
seasons here. One you played, right?
But for about a week.
Okay, so let's explain, because I haven't heard this story. I heard about it today. You said, well, I played for a week. And I thought it was a joke, but I think that you're serious. So can you explain that whole story to me and the listeners?
Yeah, sure. For those who don't know, I transferred here to Crown. I went to a public school for 2 years. It was called Southwest Minnesota State University in Marshall, Minnesota, which is about an hour away from the South Dakota border. So right next to South Dakota, practically. And so I decided, I wasn't having fun at the school I was at, and I just felt like I was called to go and just transfer closer to home, because I'm from Chaska, Minnesota. Chaska's around 20 minutes away from Crown. So I was thinking, okay, it's a college close to me. It's a college that cares about Jesus Christ, and I was really buying into that. So I transferred there. I wanted to play football. Coach Shores, before I went to Southwest Minnesota State, actually recruited me to come play at Crown, but ultimately decided to go to the public school, see how it would be. Wasn't at all what I thought it would be. And getting the Crown, I loved it. I loved being a part of everything, being in practice, getting back into the football field. It was great. But just knowing, being a student athlete is a lot. And I recognize that right away. And I'm a person that takes academics very seriously. Economics is definitely not one of the things I'm very good at, but academics. So I take academics very seriously, and I knew staying as a player that would really hurt my my current GPA. And I was really hoping just to get to Crown, just be a good student, and maybe hopefully being a great football player as well. But I knew I could only have 2 of those things. I felt like in my abilities, I felt like I only had 2. And so ultimately, I talked to Coach Franz. I said, I don't know if being a player is for me. I just feel like I'll get overwhelmed. I'll get burnt out. And then not only am I not going to be a good student, but I might not even be a good football player, because I'll be just burnt out with everything. And he said, well, if you feel burnt out, why don't you come work on staff? Be a lot less required things you got to go to, but you're still going to be part of the team. You're still going to be a polar. And I thought that's a great idea, and I don't regret it at all. I am very thankful for the opportunity, not only like Coach Franz did, but also Coach Womack. I didn't know these guys coming to Crown. I'm very thankful for the opportunity they gave me. I will stay forever grateful for the opportunity they gave me to come be on the staff.
Wow, that's moving. That's touching. That's so okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next. Yeah, we'll go on the next one. I'm sorry. My. Oh gosh. Next thing. Okay. So this season, Crown College. You heard. You probably were listening in with the conversation with me and Colby. And that whole thing. 1-7, not the brightest where we want to be. But let's talk about the future of Crown College here. What do you see about the future of Crown College and where it could be?
I just see the future is just as bright as the sun. I think it's just going to keep getting brighter and brighter. We have a great coaching staff here at Crown. We have the best recruiting coordinator, Coach Womack, our recruiting coordinator, best probably in all of college football. He always continues to teach the coaches how to recruit, how to be a coach that can relate to players. Just have them make a player feel like that you can relate to them. And so I think it's great what we do. I also think, just regardless of recruiting, I think we have a great coaching staff. We have a team that has a lot of talent, and I think we need to build on that. I think just another offseason, I think things are going to look great for Crown football.
Yeah. So then, what do you think? Where do you see yourself with like for yourself in the future here? Where do you see yourself with Crown College? Do you see yourself continuing with Crown College, because you are a junior this year, right? And so next year you're a senior. What's the plan? I mean, I know you want to go and be a teacher, and you probably want to coach at the high school level. But is there anything more for Crown that you think that you could maybe help or give, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, I love Crown. I have no regrets being here at Crown. For me as a coach or in a student assistant as well, it's just taking that next step of just, being a well-trained coach. I feel like, I'm still in the baby steps of being a coach, and I feel like I want to build off of what I know and just excel 10 times more than what I have right now, and that means just like being able to understand not only the playbook better, but also understand coverages, see how they work, and just be able to help myself as a coach. And hopefully one day, when I am past Crown, I'm at a high school level, I'm able to learn from what not only what Coach Womack has taught me, but what Coach Shores with the defense and Coach France has done. I want to take all that and I want to incorporate that at the high school level, because I truly think what they're doing at a college level in this state, I don't think anyone can stop it.
Yeah, well, so I love that, and I love that you think about, that's how you understand and what you think of Crown College. But my other question then is to that, because Crown College, it's not seen, no one really necessarily respects it, you know what I mean? Because we, 1-7 in that conference. We've only won one game against Westminster. And so what I want to help and understand, and this is one of the things I also want to help with Crown, is that to make a legacy, to change Crown College for future reference, for myself, for my son, for the future. And I do that by, coaching here right now, hopefully maybe coming back and playing one more year, who knows? But I want to make a legacy for Crown College. So how could you help is that something that you would want?
I mean, of course, yeah, I want to create a huge legacy for Crown. I mean, Crown right now, we are, compared to other private universities, Christian private universities throughout the world or throughout the country, they're seeing a decrease in enrollment, and we're seeing an increase in enrollment. Like, for example, Presentation College in South Dakota shut their doors. Iowa Wesleyan, a former opponent you're familiar with, shut their doors. I think as Crown, building a legacy of just being boldly Christian is something that a lot of people are starting to recognize is that what they want in a school. I think that's what we do great at Crown, especially with the football team. I think just knowing our stand, we have a list of standards that we have to follow as men of Christ. And Coach Franz harks on those issues. Like, he is very strict about those issues. In order to be a successful Christian football program, we have to follow those standards. And I think with a legacy like that, you're creating men to go out into the world who are better shaped to not only be good men of society, but good men of Christ. And whether that be through mission work or just being a good citizen, I think what Crown does and what Crown football does, it allows these men to go out and be godly men, is what we're called to be in the Bible. Go and make disciples. So if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it kind of does. But I want to know, and I understand that Crown is right now is in a legacy, and Coach Franz is doing that. But I want to know what you, Logan Anderson, are doing to help create that legacy in this program, and not necessarily right now, but in the future, I guess.
I mean, sure, we look ahead into the future. One thing I really want to incorporate is just being at a a different level. I feel like with me being at such a young age, 21 years old, there's football players on the team that are older than me, and there's some players that are only like a few years younger than me. And so I want to incorporate is a maturity level in myself. And sometimes I fall short on that. Sometimes I can be a little immature for my age. And so what I want to do in this next season is just to become more mature and just realize that, hey, I'm put into a position where there has to be another form of maturity and responsibility. And I have to own that. I can't just pick and choose when I can be a coach and when I can be a student that's friends with an athlete. I can't have one or the other. So that's kind of what I would want to do in the next year or so.
Well, thank you so much for giving that insight and letting us know more about you, Logan Anderson, because I know if last time so many people reached out to Matthew and I trying to know about who this Logan Anderson guy is. So, guys, let's give it up for Logan Anderson. Logan, thank you so much for coming on here. It was a pleasure, my guy. Come here. You going? Which way are you going? You going out or are you going this way? Bravo. Hey, no problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to our last guest for the day, for the night. He is we're going to flip-flop it here, though, because Matthew hasn't had his chance, but we're going to do a little flip-flop. Everyone, welcome Matthew Leathers.
Ladies and freaking gentlemen, welcome. I've been sitting on the back here, and I was just like, you know what? I got to jump into this. Our last guest, buddy of mine, guy I played with for 2 seasons, coached him for a season, now coaching with him for a season. We've got Coach Joe Yates coming into the podcast. What's going on, Coach Joe Yates? Oh, baby.
I never expected to be a part of the greatness that is the Goof and Goober Show.
Flattering.
I've always told myself, when I have this opportunity, I have one question I have been dying to ask you.
Okay.
Which one of you is the goof and which one is the goober?
You know what, Joe? I get that question probably about like 2-3 times a freaking week. And to answer your question, that is up to you guys. That is up to you. Every single one of you has a choice to make on whether I'm the goof, the goober, or the goofy goober. It's up to you guys. Who do you think's the goof and who's the goober in your eyes?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like Schrodinger's Goof and Goober, where it could be either one. Like earlier, he was the goof, and while you were cramping on the ground, you were the goober. But now in this situation, like, who knows? When you observe it, you open the box, like it could flip.
See, it's like we don't really agree with it, but it's like being trans for a second. It's like whenever I decide I want to be the goof, I could be the goof, and decide to be the goober, I could be the goofer. But we're not here to talk about trans, unfortunately. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't been on the podcast previously, we do a couple different things. And you saw it with Coach Colby Steiner a little bit ago. It's called our ringer dinger, right? But the other thing that we do, it's called our jerk off. Now, we're not going to do our jerk off with Coach Yates. For certain things, we want to keep reputations clean. We want to keep everything together. So we're just going to go with the ringer dinger. Now, the problem with the ringer dinger with Coach Yates is that he's our spiritual development coordinator and often preaches for us. So setting him up for, a time to preach, it's probably not that difficult for him. So what I want to do is kind of jump into a different idea here. And I just want to go rapid fire on certain questions. Just rapid fire. So I'm going to ask the question, and he's got to answer the question. Okay? Now, to be honest with you, I don't have very many questions lined up, so it's going to be whatever's coming off off the dome here. Okay? So we're going to get that going. If we can get the drum roll, please, started, boys. Let's get this freaking thing going. Well, I think of a couple questions here. All right, first question here. Joe Yates, where were you born?
Albert Lee, Minnesota.
How old are you?
I am 27 years old.
What's your favorite NFL player?
Right now, C.J. Stroud.
Overall.
Overall, I would have to say Jason Kelsey.
Ooh, that's a good choice. Favorite college football player currently in college?
Well, Caleb Williams, really fun to watch.
Ooh, overrated. Who is a NFL player that you want in the Hall of Fame right now?
That I want.
That's currently playing.
That is currently playing. I'm gonna have to go with Jordan Love because if he makes it to the Hall of Fame, like that's another good couple of years.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I can hope. That's all I gotta say.
For everybody knows, or for nobody really knows, but Coach is a Packer fan. So I'm not a Vikings fan, but screw the Packers. The real question. This is a question that I want you to answer. Is Adam Thielen a top tier wide receiver?
He's having a good year, but I would not say he's an elite wide receiver. But I think the top tier is elite. It's the same word. So
It's rapid fire. He said no, loser. He said no. If you had to choose between Minnesota high school football and Texas high school football, which one's best?
Texas high school football is better than Minnesota high school.
Oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Who is your top Crown College football player you ever played with?
Top Crown College football player that I ever played with would have to be our very own Matthew Webb.
Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you. Number 2.
The second best, well, Regan is close. I have to go. Yeah, for like a half season, you tore your ACL. Yeah, 2 weeks, like Coach Anderson. Yeah, I would have to go with Everett Hawk.
Ooh, hey, rest in peace, Everett. By the way, and the last and final question. This is your singles ads. Okay, you are single. We know it as a coaching staff. He is single. You have to give yourself a single ad. Here's the mic. Go as long as you want.
All right. Well, I guess my singles ad is that this was very much an on the spot thing, and I don't always usually like to sell myself, but I'll give my chance here. So I am passionate about a couple of things. Passionate first about Jesus, passionate about football. I'm passionate about the people around me. So like that's what I chase after. That's what I strive after, all of those things. So, like I also have been told I give pretty good hugs. I'm an O-lineman. It's just a part. So there we go. You can reach me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Just look for my name, Joe Yates. Yeah, on Twitter it's Coach_J Yates. On Instagram, JYates923.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the ringer dinger with Coach Yates. Just a quick rapid fire. I wanted to make it a little bit different. But the ultimate reason why I wanted to jump on this last part here is Coach Yates and I share something very special that I think has never been really addressed. And I really just want to take some time to talk about it. So a couple years ago, Coach Franz was not here. We had another head coach, Coach John Auer. Loved the man to death. Did so much for our program. And so I just want to talk about that experience. I want to talk about, what he did for you and kind of just, put in a remembrance, because like I said earlier, is that we played together. Actually, the funny thing is you stayed with me on your recruiting visit. And then he came to Crown, and then I left, and then I came back, and we played together. Then I was his O-line coach for a season, and now we're coaching together. So I think it's a really, really unique scenario that not a lot of people get. And so I want to talk about Crown before the Crown that you are at now. talk about the past, talk about your experience at Crown. What made you love Crown? What made you love Crown College football, the coaching staff, the players? And yeah, so this is free reign for you.
Ooh, that is a good one. So I one of the biggest reasons I went to Crown was actually because I stayed on my recruiting visit with Matt Leathers. I felt, after coming there were a couple of colleges I was looking at, a couple of Christian colleges, Crown, and another one that I won't name so that they don't block me on Twitter. So I was at this other school, and when I visited, like the attitude was kind of like, yeah, we're a Christian college. If you want to go to a Christian college, you just need to come here because we're the best. And I mentioned something about going to Crown, or checking out Crown. And the defensive coordinator at the time was just kind of like, "Oh, why would you want to do that?" I'm like, I don't know. I just got connected with the guy and wanted to check it out. So I went on my recruiting visit afterwards, and I stayed with Matt, stayed in his room, and I just felt heavily that like that was a place, where the other one was like, you need to come here because you need us. It was like, we really want you. And that wasn't just the thought from him. That was the thought from the entire coaching staff. Coach Sather came and had lunch or dinner at my house. One of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had. That man is intense, but great guy, but kind of scary. And Coach Auer would just, he'd call me at home and we would chat, and like he was just a fantastic dude, is a fantastic dude. Like, still talk, he's not dead. But yeah, so I'd talk with Coach Auer quite a bit. And the biggest thing, like with Crown, was it was about the people. It was that the people who were there cared about the staff, the coaching staff cared about the players, they cared about the students. They were focused on building men first. And that stuck with me. Because I did go to Crown to play football. Like, that was my, I felt a connection there, but that was my number one thing. Football was the thing that was above everything else in my life. And then I got hurt, and I didn't have that anymore right away in my freshman season. And it gave me, an opportunity to really, I had to pause and like think about my priorities. And I realized that even if I don't have football, I'm in a place where the people cared about me and the people cared about Jesus, and I needed to be there because that was where I was going to grow as a person. Whereas I know there are a lot of schools that if you are there as an athlete and you get hurt, you just water under the bridge. And that wasn't the case with Crown. And that is still like, with Coach Auer, coming back and playing for him, because I graduated before Matt, somehow, and then I came back because I was working on my master's and still had eligibility because of that first year I got hurt. So then I came back and played for him and realized real quick that I was way too old. I threw my back out on the second day. But yeah, so like it was, a lot of it was just about reconnecting with great people in my life. And, after Coach Auer got let go, like, it hurt. He is a great man. But, I think that we've had the opportunity, like, I will still talk with him, and he still wants to know about Crown and wants to know about people and wants to know how I'm doing. Like, he reaches out a lot. And so, yeah, there's still just that connection of all, the care first and foremost. First and foremost, everybody loves Jesus. Like, that's the first thing. But, they love Jesus and they love the guys. And that's still definitely there with Crown. That's still here with Coach Franz's staff, Coach Franz himself. And I love that. And I love that is still the biggest identity of the Bowler football.
So for most of the audience, some of them may not know about kind of the transition and how Crown was before to now. I would say, I mean, for the most part, it's somewhat the same. But what has been kind of like the biggest change that you've had to adjust to, or like the biggest change that had made the most impact for you coming back from, like, literally coming from old Crown to new Crown in an instant? What's kind of been the biggest change?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is just it's kind of the style of the coaching staff. Now obviously before I wasn't involved with like the stuff happening behind the scenes and all the long hours put into the office like I am now. Like Matt obviously knows, but you know, with the staff before, it was, you know, kind of it was a tight knit group that just kind of, you know, did things the way to get it done, which you know, great, and that's some great stuff. But with the staff now, it is, I don't know if professional is necessarily the right word, but stylistically, you know, we want to carry ourselves like the program that we are. We have a lot of coaches on the staff. It's like 12, I guess 13 now that Coach Dvorak has joined us unofficially, officially. Yeah, you know, it's. I think it was something like that because yeah, we had Coach Auer was the O-line coach and head coach. We had the OC who was also quarterbacks, wide receivers. And then 3 on defense. Yeah. We didn't have a lot. Yeah, and now we've got a big staff, and the focus of the staff is a lot more. Coach Franz, Coach Womack, they're really focused on building coaches that they can then send out. It's, yes, a lot of the guys are, you know, they want to build a program and build what's in the house, and do that to make the house better. But also, they're like, if you want to coach, if this is what you want to do, we will help you find the opportunities to move on, to move up, learn the skills you need to learn. And I am super appreciative of that. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I didn't even know quite how it happened. Like, I could have guessed and I probably could have made something work, but being with guys who have been in big programs, Coach Womack was a GA at a Division I school. Coach Franz has been at a lot of different programs. Like, they're big on passing that information on and teaching a lot of the stuff that they picked up from a lot of different places.
And so you're the third offensive line coach, soon to be fourth-ish, depending. We've got a weird situation with the O-line, but this is kind of going back to the ringer dinger here, but more of an on-spot. If you had the opportunity to coach another position, what would that position be?
Well, let's see. In our offense right now, we do not have a tight end group, although that might change in the future. Go from more of a 4 wide receiver to a 10 personnel. You know, and if I cannot choose O-line, because what I've been told is if you want to be an OC, stick with the O-line. O-line or quarterbacks. I don't think that, I feel like quarterbacks would take me some time. Couldn't necessarily, couldn't just on the spot. I feel like I could coach running backs. We had a camp earlier this summer that last minute we found out that Coach Leathers here could not make it to. So Coach Womack shouts out of his office, Yates, you're coaching running backs today, so good luck. Figure out some drills. And that was a good time. I enjoyed it. And coaching running backs in the run and shoot, that's a good time. But yeah, so I would say, you know, tight ends, if we get that, That'd be kind of the position because they're just alignment with hands, and running backs because they've got to work directly with the O-line. I don't know if I could coach wide receivers. No bone in my body has ever been a wide receiver. I'm not fast. I have bad hands. Like, I could tell them what to do, but I can't show them.
No, that's hilarious. No, that's actually a really good idea. I definitely could see you being a tight ends coach. So, but besides the football aspect, right? In terms of your titles, because I want to go down this route a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, you are a spiritual development coordinator as well. So you got a lot of hands-on experience with, taking our team, helping drive the faith aspect of our program to the next level. We also have another Crown alumni that is assisting with us, if I'm not mistaken, Pastor Max Mosier. What have you guys done to collaborate, or is there anything in the future that you're like really excited about from that aspect that you want to implement into Crown College football moving forward?
Yeah, so I could actually talk about this for a long time. I know we're kind of wrapping up the time here, but the biggest thing that Pastor Max and I have been working on is kind of working with our Life Together groups. That's our small groups for the football team, because that is a big part of campus-wide how they're doing spiritual development. They want everybody to be involved in Life Together groups. It's why they cut out, when they originally had the plan, they cut out a whole day of chapels because they're like, we want to do small groups instead. We want to do these Life Together groups instead. And I have been working with Max on kind of a program that it trains our guys, our players, to be able to lead small groups next year. So instead of it just being something that's got a coach behind it every single year, which is good, we're training up some handful of juniors and seniors, juniors specifically, so that their senior year next fall they can just lead the freshman group. And then instead of it being just us pouring into them and seeing we'll see what happens, it's the disciples are multiplying. It's building them as people, and so instead of, and if that gets going, if that kicks off, like, I can just leave, I can step out, and it can just keep running on its own. So that's the biggest thing that Max and I have been working on. I think if it's a good program, that it's something that they could work in campus wide, like that would be kind of a dream. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I love that. Because like we said, I mean, Crown is I mean, it's Christ first, essentially, right? Like, it's like we say student athlete, but obviously when we bring in students, we want to bring in students that are on all different spectrums of their walk with Christ, but the goal is to help them grow. And I think that's a great idea, having the players grow themselves by helping other people grow. So I think that's absolutely that's a great idea and great plan. Shout out Max, by the way. He runs over the Infinity Bros podcast as well. So big shout out to them. And he's been on the freaking podcast. Go back to that episode, look through YouTube. Last and final thing I want to talk about, moving into the off season. I mean, this is your first year coaching. You never know if I'm going to come back or not. We're going to have end of year interviews about how the season happened. What's your thoughts moving forward? Obviously you want to be a part of the program, obviously. What kind of steps do you think you're going to have to take to continue to grow here at Crown from a coaching standpoint?
Yeah, so that is kind of a big thing thinking about right now. But going into next year, the biggest thing I kind of need to figure out is how to make it all work. Like right now, I'm a student as well. I'm in my last year of my master's. So I've been able to take some liberties with I can coach and be a student, and I work 10 hours a week at a church. So like that all those things work fit together, but that's not really financially sustainable. So that's a big thing. kind of going forward that I need to figure out. But the other thing is, from a football standpoint, I've noticed this year, I more than anything kind of need to like settle on my terminology, because I've heard things said 1,000 different ways from 1,000 different people. And I'm not saying that I'm dyslexic, but I pull the wrong word out all the time. And so like, I know what I'm saying, and guys are just looking at me like, what are you talking about? So that's something I want to sit down. I want to focus on building, building a terminology, whether it's a glossary, a playbook, something like that, where I just kind of know this is the word that I'm going to use every single time, do as much research and cut up stuff like that.
I totally agree, and I think that when I first got into coaching, that was the same thing as well. It was like terminology and cohesiveness with communications, like a massive thing. Because oftentimes, if you say the wrong thing, the kids sometimes do something completely different that they might have learned in the past. Or so. No, I totally agree. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to cut it for our interviews today with the Crown College football team. I forgot to ask this question. Let me give you one more question here. Tomorrow, last game. What are we going to have to do from an O-line perspective in particular to dominate the game for tomorrow?
I think the biggest thing that we've got to do is just be able to recognize what they're doing up front. Greenville does some weird stuff. They got a guy who is playing in the league right now, and he's kind of come down and he's been like, hey, here's some fun stuff that we're doing. And you could tell if you're watching it on tape, they do some weird stuff that I've only ever seen on Sundays. So that's the biggest thing. But I think if we recognize that, if we, do our jobs well, we're going to have a good day tomorrow.
Yeah. Who are you besides Eli? Because obviously Coach Steiner coaches on the O-line as well and pointed him out. Besides Eli, who are you looking forward to having him step up or lead or make a big impact for the O-line tomorrow?
All right, real quick on this last one, just because, I do have to do bed checks here. But I would say that the biggest step up tomorrow would actually be a freshman, Bryce Turnez. It's his first start because of an injury. He step up during the week, and I think he can do it, but it's big. It's his first college start.
Perfect. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to Coach Joe Yates for coming on the podcast. We're going to just wrap it up really quick here. For those of you who are listening online, we appreciate you guys. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Podchaser, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, the whole nine. You can pretty much go to anywhere and type in the Goof and Goober Show. Follow us, but also leave us criticism in the comments down below. Let us know what we need to get better at, what we need to, improve. We take criticism very, very well because we coach and this is what we do all day. So please give us some criticism. Let us know. But we love every one of you guys. We love, obviously, Crown College football team. We appreciate you guys coming out and chatting. And then let's go get this dub tomorrow versus Greenville. Get the W.
And that's a wrap on another hilarious and unforgettable episode of the Goof and Goober Show. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did recording. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our future goofiness. Join us next time as we continue to explore the weird and wonderful world of laughter and entertainment. Remember, you can always connect with us on social media and share your favorite moments using hashtag Goof and Goober Show. Until next time, stay goofy, stay goober, and keep spreading smiles wherever you go. Thanks for tuning in to the Goof and Goober Show with Matthew and Regan.